some kind of energies that were in Washington, D.C. had latched onto her.
Yeah. Black
they
goo.
just fell to the ground.
Oh.
I'm trying to see. They're like they're trolls.
Hmm. Actual trolls?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think this has to do with the Masonic Lodge, and
yeah,
maybe they're trying to affect you through her.
Yeah, that came up too in our little under little under a month ago. This came up.
It has something to do with Obama. I heard the false son.
What about him?
I don't know. They're pulling him out too.
But he was there.
And Michelle, Michael, whatever it is.
They were there with her?
They're coming through this portal that the trolls were working for. Oh my God, it's like a glass house, just it shattered. Must have been a mirror reality or something.
Yeah, this is critical, Jess. We gotta help her if we can. And put some protection around her.
There's another troll. And then I saw Asmodeus. So you know that those demons, Balthazar and all them, they're all part of the King Solomon's temple, the whole Masonic 33 right.
Yeah. The Freemason, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff they get into when you get up to the 33rd degree and above.
Every single degree that you get is making a vow to a demon. So by the time you get up to 33, you have 33 demons that you are in debt to.
Well, a lot of our founding fathers were Masons too.
Yep.
Including Washington.
That's what I think. I think that just broke.
And they set up Washington D.C. in a grid, a Masonic grid.
Yep.
With the Washington Monument supposedly is a phallic symbol for Pindar. You know who Pindar is?
Yep.
Have you heard that before about the Washington Monument?
Yeah.
So you're saying that we broke that?
Something broke. It was like a glass house.
Well, that's a good thing.
That might have been Solomon's temple. It's made out of crystal or something. Shattered.
Well, supposedly Solomon's temple was in Jerusalem.
Right.
Where the what is it? Well, there's a temple there now, but it's where Solomon's temple used to be. Now it's where the Masonic, or not the Masonic, the Islamic temple is in Jerusalem there. I forget what they call it. Is she looking clear?
Now I'm looking at it. Looks I'm inside a building. It looks like a lion is like carved into the wall. Kind of reminds me of like Sumeria or something.
The lion built into the wall, you say?
Yeah, looks like a chessboard. And I saw all the black and white pieces just collapse. And there's Soros. That disgusting little man. Wants to kill everybody and is a traitor of everyone.
He isn't even alive anymore, is he?
He's there energetically. Whether people want to believe he's alive or not, I don't care. I see him.
Well, his spirit, yeah, of course, his spirit is still
I think he's an immortal.
right, but that doesn't mean he can't be
David
taken
Rockefeller,
out,
I
taken into
still see him
custody.
around. Did you hear what I said?
Who? Soros?
David Rockefeller also, I've seen him plenty of times. He's supposed to be dead as well.
Yeah. What about Epstein?
I'm not looking for anybody. I want to stick with this.
Well, right. I just wondered if he was there.
No.
All these other dickheads are.
No, just let it open up. If we start asking for people, we close the door, and then I won't be able to see what's going on.
Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay.
Okay, I'm seeing like a griffin.
Ugh.
You know what a griffin is?
Yeah. It's like a bird or something, or?
It's a combination of like a couple different animals.
Yeah.
One of them's a lion, I think. And they broke some kind of spell. So weird. I saw like these two neo-Nazis, not like regular Nazis, but neo-Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
With the shaved heads.
Yeah.
And that one of them was Solomon, as if he had incarnated.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw the Beatles. It's really weird.
Huh. All four of them?
Mostly Paul or Fall.
What, the original or the fake one?
Fake one.
Yeah. You can tell the difference.
He has the key. He has a key. Took it from him. The hell you think you are? He gave it to Rodan.
Yeah, there you go. I was just gonna say that. Is this all connected to in some way?
You.
Me?
Yep.
Oh. Damn.
It's a lot of stuff.
Wow. Yes.
Now I'm seeing you. Jeez. Were they going to say that you're Hiram Abiff? What is that? Something connected to Hiram Abiff.
What's that?
It's related to the Masonic Lodge.
Oh.
Hiram Abiff is a central character of an allegory presented to all the candidates during the third degree Masonry.
How do you spell that, Lilith?
Hiram. He is presented as the chief architect of King Solomon's temple, who is murdered in the temple. He designed by three ruffians as they successfully attempt to force him to divulge the master mason's secret passwords. The themes of the allegory are the importance of fidelity and the certainty of death. So, essentially, they thought you were Hiram Abiff.
What is that last name you're saying there? How do you?
Abiff. But I don't think you are.
Hiram Abiff. He was the chief architect of the Masonic Lodge, did you say? Or?
Yeah, let me look it up. I'll put it on here. I literally heard the name.
You said that somebody thought that was me.
Yeah, the entities thought it was you. Somebody did that.
Again,
set you up.
Blaming me for something someone else did.
Yep. Azrael did it.
Abiff. Oh, 2 F's.
It's kind of a weird name, right?
Yeah.
So he's the architect that created the temple, and then they beat him up because they wanted the passwords.
Was it Solomon's temple or?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, Temple Mount was what I was trying to think of.
Well, they're saying here it's an allegory. Like, in other words, it's a character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's used as an example I think that was probably, someone throughout time that this experienced this, but the whole point is, even if it's going to get you hurt, you are still not allowed to reveal what happened, what you know.
Mm-hmm.
So their whole thing is about secrecy.
Right.
So here it says, other accounts that are biblical, so it was a real person.
What was it?
Refers to Hiram as an artificer, craftsman. So like a wizard.
Right.
Now Solomon sent for an artificer out of Tyre, whose name was Hiram. He was by birth of the tribe of Naphtali, which is like Natalie, on his mother's side, for she was of that tribe, but his father was of the stock of the Israelites.
So
I think that's of the Chaldees, they call it.
And that's Hebrew, right?
Yeah. The Targum Sheni, an Aramaic commentary on the Book of Esther, written sometime between the fall of Rome and the Crusades, credits Hiram with the construction of the miraculous throne for Solomon, which in Esther's time is being used by the descendants of Cyrus the Great. The most elaborate version of the legend occurs in Gerard de Nerval's 1851 account, Voyage in the Orient, where he relates the tale inserting all the Masonic passwords as part of the story of Balkis, the Queen of the Morning, in Solomon, Prince of the Genii, or the Jinn, I think that's what they're trying to say.
Ah.
This is the elaboration of the second version above, where the master craftsman is named Adoniram. Before his death, he undergoes mystical adventure, as his tale is interwoven with that of Solomon in Balkis, the Queen of Sheba. The ruffians who kill him are under the instruction of Solomon himself. Geez, so Solomon set him up.
So who made it look like it was me though? Solomon himself?
No, didn't I say somebody else?
I didn't hear who did that, but
I don't know. I just got a memory wipe of who I said. You got to pay attention because I don't. The information sometimes comes out and then goes.
yeah, I try to write it down, Jess, but I'm trying to put all this together, and it's it's not easy.
That's why I sent you the link so you can look at it while I'm reading it.
Oh yeah, I will.
All right, so listen to this. The ruffians who kill him are under the instruction of Solomon himself. De Nerval relates the story as having been told in an Eastern coffee house over a 2-week period. There's the coffee that we talked about.
Yeah.
Similar to an account is given as Charles William Heckthorne's The Secret Societies of All Ages in the Countries, where Solomon plots to destroy Hiram because of his mutual love between Hiram and the Queen of Sheba. Meanwhile, in 1862, the whole adventure of Adoniram's love for Balkis and his murder by 3 workmen in the pay of Solomon had been all set to music in this opera that they're talking about. So who was this? The master craftsman is Adoniram. What's interesting is Hiram had a thing for the Queen of Sheba, which is like the African queen.
Yeah.
But that was just one of Solomon's wives. Other theories.
Didn't she get with Caesar too?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought that was part of a story.
That might have been Cleopatra.
Oh,
Thinking of.
Yeah. That's it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so there's someone by the name of Sequener Tau. According to the authors, Robert Lomas and Christopher Knight, the prototype of Hiram Abiff was the Egyptian king Sequenen Tau II, who they claim died in almost identical manner. This idea is dismissed by most Masonic scholars, probably because they don't really want people to know who it was. Then they talk about the Sufi sect Al-Banna, the builders, who built the Al-Aqsa Mosque in the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. This fraternity could have influenced some early Masonic guilds, which borrowed heavily from the Oriental architecture in the creation of the Gothic style.
And supposedly, Solomon had demons working for him to build that temple too.
Yep. So the primary architect, which would have been Hiram, and then there was this other guy, Adonram or whatever his name is, Adoniram. He's a master craftsman. And then the Queen of Sheba is involved. I mean, it sounds like a really strange combination. And then we find out that there's this Egyptian guy.
And weren't the Egyptians that originally from Atlantis?
Yeah, that's what they say. I'm not sure.
Like when Atlantis sunk, some of them escaped and went to Egypt?
It's possible, but I think most of them went to, like, I don't know, they might have gone to Mu. Some of them went to South America.
Or under the ocean, they're still there, maybe.
Yeah.
Where the Bermuda Triangle is.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the Atlantic, where Atlantis used to be.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. I'm not sure how to interpret all of this.
I know. It's so weird that they brought up, it said, all right, so, let's see what this means. Yeah, someone's after this guy that was Hiram Abiff.
So they've been after me.
They thought it was you.
Thinking it was me, so they've been fucking with me then.
They said it looked like you.
Shit. Can't they tell by my soul, though?
Yeah, but they, for whatever reason, they thought it was you.
Do they know now that it wasn't?
Well, they're gone now. They were kind of rogue, whatever they were. They were looking to be able to control everyone through the lodge. In the secrets of the lodge.
Yeah.
I just heard Bowling Green. Isn't that an area?
Yeah. In Ohio, I think.
That just opened up.
Is it Ohio?
Yeah, I think so. Let's look it up.
Is it related to what we're talking about, or did that just pop up out of nowhere?
Yeah, it's Ohio.
Uh-huh.
Something opened up there. Talking about a collegiate team, but
Football?
that's the Falcons. Bowling Green University.
Oh, that's their team name?
Yep. There's a Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Huh.
Yeah, City of Bowling Green, Ohio.
That's what just opened up?
Yeah, both of them did.
What's the purpose of that?
Let's see what they're... So they've got a university, but what else do they have? Or it's a college town. All right, they just pulled you out of a reality that was hooked into this Masonic stuff, because you were never in a part of the Masonic Lodge.
No, not in this life.
I don't even think in any life.
Huh.
Which is weird that they're hooking into you like that and trying to use you. Maybe they're looking for life force or something.
Or someone was trying to hijack me and
You
use
were that Danish king. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I wonder if that had something to do with what they were looking for. Yeah, it was.
And also I got the Agarthan and the Angel
Yep.
Lynn.
Yep.
Yeah, I want that cleared from me. Permanent.
I heard the name Sabrina.
Hmm.
Sounds like a witch.
Yeah. And who is Sabrina?
Someone connected to a Celtic lifetime you had.
Oh. Was it my wife or something?
I don't feel that she was a wife.
Was she a witch?
Sabrina in the Celtic goddess of the river Severn, which flows from its sources in Wales through England.
Hmm.
Ever heard of her? Part of, let's see, according to Celtic mythology, Sabrina is the water nymph who inhabits the river Severn.
Oh.
So there's like these sculptures of her. It's somewhere in Wales.
Huh.
And then it empties into the Bristol Channel and then on into the Celtic Sea.
My last name is Welsh. In this lifetime.
Oh.
Yeah, the S on the end of my name makes it Welsh. You see my name, Howell, quite a bit, but that's not Welsh. It's with the S on the end of it that makes it Welsh. Just about everybody in Wales has a S on the end of their name. Like Tom Jones, the singer, is from there, and Dave Edmunds, another guy from there. It's a rock star guitar player. And just, it's just very common to have that on the end of your name in Wales.
All right, so the legend of how the Severn got its name begins with the Brutus of Troy. He led a band of Trojan exiles to Britain, and the land was named for him. On Brutus's death, the land was divided into 4 parts, given to his 3 sons, Lochtrine, Camber, Albanact, and his good friend Coroneus. To cement the alliance, Coroneus' daughter Gwendolen was promised to Locrine in marriage. Before they were to be married, Britain was invaded by the Huns, and Locrine led the fight against the invaders. A princess named Estrildis was one of those captured, and Locrine fell in love with her. He asked Coroneus to let him out of the engagement with Gwendolen, but Coroneus would not hear of it. Locrine married Gwendolen, but he had secret rooms built under the castle where he hid Estrildis away. For the next 7 years, Locrine continued to see his true love, using the excuse that he was making offerings to the gods. After a time, Estrildis gave birth to Locrine's daughter Havrin. When Coroneus died, Locrine divorced Gwendolen and sent her back to her father's kingdom and acknowledged Estrildis and Havrin as his family. The jilted Gwendolen raised an army of her father's men against Lochtrine, and he was killed in a battle. Gwendolen ordered that Estrildis and Haverin be thrown into the mighty river that ran through the Lochtrine's kingdom. She was then declared that the river would be henceforth named after Haverin, so that Lochrine's infidelity would be forever remembered. When the Romans invaded, they changed the name to their own version, Sabrina, that means from the boundary. Geoffrey of Monmouth also tells a story of three sisters who were water spirits meeting on the windswept slopes of Plinlomen to discuss the problems of finding the best way to the sea. The first decided to take the most direct route and headed westward, beyond the river Ystwyth. The second loved the landscape and made her way through the hills and the valleys, becoming the river Wye, W-Y-E. And the third decided against shortcuts and took 180 miles to reach the sea, passing through many cities and never being far from people. She became the river Severn. Milton writes of Sabrina in Comus, in which the water nymph is conjured and rescues a lady from her plight because she is pure in heart. An agent of freedom, then, Sabrina is seen as a powerful, mystical, and sympathetic to women who fall victim to a patriarchal system which undervalues and confines them. Milton's description of Sabrina is worth quoting here. There is a gentle nymph not far from hence, that with moist curb sways the smooth Severn stream. Sabrina is her name, a virgin pure. Whilom she was the daughter of Locrine, that had the sceptre from his father's brute, the guiltless damsel flying the mad pursuit. So there's more stuff here. They made a big deal over her. So they have like different kinds of statues of her.
How am I connected to her though?
They have her as if she's like a virgin and she's pure, but she's not. They have this other poem here. Sabrina fair, listen where thou art sitting, under the glassy, cool, translucent wave, in twisted braids of lilies knitting, the loose train of thy amber dropping hair. Listen for dear's honor's sake, goddess of the silver lake, listen and save. So the lilies, it means that she was probably Lilith. So break ties with her.
Okay. I break all vows, contracts, agreements, oaths, blood oaths, any connection whatsoever to Lilith, and anyone connected to Lilith. Any time stream in between, parallel pocket universe, in between false reality, quantum space, and I thank thee for it is done, and I know it. And with Sabrina too?
Yeah.
And also with Sabrina. Water nymph.
All right, so let me just look into this and see. Oh, someone just threw something at me.
Whoa.
I think it was Lilith.
Leave us alone, Lilith. Leave Jess alone. She supposedly visits men in their dreams and stuff.
Yeah, well, I hate to say this, but her voice sounded masculine.
Huh. She's a demon, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she's a demon.
Yeah.
Sort of looked like Katy Perry there for a minute.
She was supposedly Adam's first wife.
Yep.
Then he dumped her.
Now she's showing up with a rope around, like a noose around her throat.
Huh.
She said, see, I could do this. I can prove to you that I can destroy things on your planet. And I think she's referring to that guy that that race car driver that used the noose.
Yeah. The black guy, I forget his name. Buddy something? Bubby or something.
Yeah, I forget what his name was.
He was a black guy.
Yeah, but she was moving through him.
Huh. She
What
mad
else? What else have you done, Lilith? Why don't you confession time?
Huh.
She says, I don't have to tell you anything. All right. But you just did.
Is she upset that we just cut ties with her?
I don't need you anyhow, she said.
We don't need you either.
She said, you sit around feeling sorry for yourself, licking your wounds.
No, I don't.
Why don't you grow up? That's what she just said. I think she's implying that she was moving through your ex-wife.
Her name was Lila.
Oh, yeah.
Delilah, but I called her Lila. Yeah, that's pretty close. Did you know that?
No.
Wow. But it came to you that she might have been moving through my ex-wife.
She just said, she showed it. She showed it to me.
Well, maybe that's what was interfering with my love life, too, in the last 10 years.
Yeah, she was saying you felt sorry for yourself. You requested to know who's been blocking you in relationships.
Yeah.
So this is coming up.
Yeah.
She said, I've taken all your money, too.
You can't have it. Not like I have that much, but you can't have it.
She's carrying these, like, chains. It's like charm bracelets or something, but they're not. And she's, like, all slumped over, like, hanging. It's weird.
So is that what's been interfering with my ability to have a woman?
Yeah, you know what I'm seeing is she's actually that creature that's from that scary movie that comes out of the well.
Huh.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The woman, she crawls out of the well and comes through the TV screen and starts going. Yeah, it's creepy.
Does she have like blue skin or something? Or
I don't know if blue skin, but she's got like dark hair and it's like hanging in front of her face.
I try not to watch nasty shit like that, but.
Oh, I didn't know that was Lilith. That makes sense.
Huh.
They call it the well? Maybe it's not called the well. It's called something like that.
So is she gone?
Yep.
Okay.
Wow. She was nasty.
Any other beings I gotta clear? Come on, show yourself.
She showed up again, but in like a different form.
Mm-hmm.
She's got her hands crossed, and she said, where do you think you're going?
I'm not tied to you anymore, and you're not tied to me. So wherever I want.
Now she's showing up under the name of Jane. She said, I tell all men what to do.
Huh.
That's crazy.
Wouldn't be that Jane that's connected to Zorro, would it?
She said, you got it.
Oh, Lord. She's annoying as hell.
I heard that, she said.
Well, I'm talking about Jane now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about you, Lily. You probably are too. That's probably where the annoyance comes from.
Now she's saying she's not Lily. She is, but she's messing with you.
Oh.
You want to break ties with her? Because
she's the one that is the host of his show. He calls her Quasar too. That's her, I guess, soul name or something. I don't know.
That is weird, because a quasar came up in the Andronicus transmission.
She calls herself Jane Quasar.
Jeez. Want to break ties with her?
Yeah. Break all vows, contracts, agreements, oaths, blood oaths, any connection whatsoever to Jane Quasar. What about Billy and Soraya?
And who?
Soraya is the being that Zora talks through when he's on his shows. You know, he
sounds like Zoroaster, right?
Well, Zora, yeah. But I mean, you know, he takes over the body with his soul, and Billy's soul goes wherever he was, Hollow Earth or wherever.
Yeah, why don't you break ties with them and see what happens?
Okay, I've already done that, but I'll do it again. I break all vows, contracts, agreements, oaths, blood oaths, any connection whatsoever to Zora, Billy, Soraya, Jane Quasar, and I thank thee. Or I mean, in any dimension, time stream, in between parallel pocket universe, in between false reality, quantum space, and I thank thee for it is done, and I know it. Does that work?
Yep.
Cool. Anyone else is hiding around me or?
Yeah, I heard Somerset Belenoff, who is also another aspect of Lilith. She's part of that Wetton group, I think.
She's still on the planet, right?
Yeah, she's, I guess, supposedly all the royals listen to her.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard that name come up lately. I don't remember what.
Occult, Somerset Belenoff Illuminati Queen. Why not, right?
Yeah.
Summer of 1969, she was introduced to former Crowley colleagues in what turned out to be a sort of sorcery showdown that brought about the destruction. Let's see what this is. So this is something. Oh, listen to this. So she wrote something called "The Occult Connections Deeper Than Dante," and it says, "I've met your devil, sir, and frankly was not impressed. Lucifer is a third-rate demonic entity who relies on his biblical fame in an attempt to hold on to power. The pathetic fool once offered to give me the world on a silver platter in return for my immortal soul. I told him I already have the world. I have the silver platter, and I have no need of the silly trinkets. I told him if he annoyed us further, I would take his eyes out, and he left. I was 13 years old." She said this Somerset Belenoff to Reverend Billy Graham.
And he was a pedophile.
Well, yeah, she's a 13-year-old girl talking to Billy Graham. But the whole thing is that her being Lilith would talk like that to most people would not talk to Lucifer that way.
But Lucifer's an archangel, right?
Yep. But I'm just saying that she was darker than what they're saying Lucifer is.
Is he really Satan?
At the age of 13, there's a number 13.
Uh-huh.
All right, so
is Lucifer really Satan?
No.
Okay.
So talking about Miss Belenoff appears to have an unusual connection to German town of Hamelin. If the name sounds, let's see, familiar, it may be that you've heard it mentioned in the legend of the Pied Piper, who alleged to have led away all the village's children over 700 years ago.
Yeah.
Every year, there's pedophiles, the children, right?
Yeah, the Pied Piper of Hamelin. That's what that was. Yeah.
Every year on June 26th, a post appears in the Glamis Calling blog to commemorate the Hamelin tragedy. It may seem touching or even sweet. The idea of a 65-year-old woman who believes in the terrible legend and is moved to post a comment on her blog to remind the world that the children are precious and we must never let something like this happen again. When you actually view the post and listen to the audio, it isn't touching at all. It's really, really creepy. Instead of a message of comfort, the post may be better interpreted as a condemnation of the parents who allowed their children to be taken. Worse, one gets the feeling that Miss Belenoff might be mocking the village, why emphasize the parental negligence in a case that happened 7 years ago, if it happened at all? So it's like, why is she bringing this up now? Like so many things surrounding Somerset Belenoff, the real story behind her connection to Hamlin and the Pied Piper is an enigma, but it is interesting to note that according to the late Peter Graham, so first it was Billy Graham, now it's Peter Graham.
Mm.
And Billy, you were saying, talking about Billy being connected to Jane. So, and it could all be, getting back to Billy, what's his name? Billy Myers, too, made me think of.
Yeah.
So Miss Belenoff, oh, wait a minute. So talking to Peter Graham, Led Zeppelin's manager, the song Stairway to Heaven is about Miss Belenoff and includes references to her that were well known to people that in London and art and music scene. We mention this here because the song also includes the words, "The Piper's calling you to join him."
Yeah.
Obviously, the reference to her connection to the Pied Piper of Hamlin.
And Jimmy Page, guitar player in Led Zeppelin, Aleister Crowley's castle in England or Wales,
Yep.
or wherever it was. You heard about that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's connected in that way, too.
So, all right, so Graham told Melody Maker that the lyrics for the May Queen refers directly to Miss Belenoff and that she is a lady who is buying the Stairway to Heaven. In the 1960s, Belenoff was known informally within the London art scene as the May Queen, most likely because May 1st is her birthday, and she was known as a sort of magical, carefree, and regal person.
That's the lyric in the song too, May Queen. That's
So
part of
this was after she was the inspiration of that song.
Yes, and Led Zeppelin's manager's name was Peter Grant. And he was a big guy, like an ex-wrestler or something.
I thought they say it's Peter Graham.
Well, his name was Grant, Grant. It's pretty close. And it was Peter. He was like their bodyguard. He didn't let anybody get near him.
The image on the right appeared on Glamour's Calling, along with the audio file and the words, "It is 733 years since our children left." This is likely a reference to the entry written over 600 years ago in the village church records. Simply says, "It's 100 years since our children left." Mm-hmm. Obviously, Miss Belenoff is intimately familiar with the legend, and the early church records that mention the exodus of the children, but the reason for her intense interest is not known. In the audio file attached to the post, you can hear the echoes of voices of children laughing and suddenly crying, sounds of pigs grunting and squealing, men shouting in German, and demons wailing. Given Miss Belenoff's occult leanings, one wonders if she has somehow reached through the ages and captured, however imperfectly, the sounds of what you happened on that fateful day more than 700 years ago. You will have to visit glamorscalling.org to enjoy the complete experience because we were not able to download the audio. This is crazy. Yeah, there they said manager Peter Grant. You're right.
Yeah. That's pretty close, though. Same last initial, and similar.
Oh my God, look at this. Well, and her name, right? Her name is Somerset. So we go down a little further, and then they say, in this, Miss Belenoff is said to have referred to Crowley's Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn as the Pathetic Order of the Golden Yawn. In the summer of 1969, she was introduced to former Crowley's colleagues in what turned out to be a sort of sorcery showdown about the destruction of the resurrected order. Led Zeppelin manager Peter Grant recounted this story in the weekly British music magazine. Well, I knew the Countess when she was 16 years old, before she was a Countess, and before the whole Wetton World Governing Council stuff. She was one of the beautiful young ladies who orbited the rock and roll scene back in the 60s, and we were a pretty rough lot. She was called Lilibet back then. Lily.
Wow.
Exactly what I said, right?
Yeah.
I've never read this before.
Wow.
So, and we were looking at Lilith, and it goes right back to Somerset Belenoff, and then I had no idea. Sort of a nickname for Elizabeth, which is actually her first name. At first we thought, she's a queen's cousin, she's beautiful, and we'd like to have her around, but, we have to look after her, protect her from some of these predatory gorillas around us. She'd go away to school in China. She was majoring in mathematics already at university, really advanced for her age. Or she'd leave for a few weeks up to Glamis or to the Clarence house in London, and then she'd pop back into our lives every couple of months. She and Jimi Page used to have these friendly occult challenges where they'd sit across from each other and see who can make the other person's chair fall over. Silly games like that. And I remember one thing, she could do that, Jimi could not, is she could actually literally drop the temperature in the room. I mean, this is crazy stuff. And they talk a little bit about her and Jimi here.
He was involved with her because he was known for being having a very young girlfriend back then when they became famous.
Yeah, here they were, these old guys were real old school evil sorcerers and straight away, so they were talking about Jimi and former students of Aleister Crowley. And they said straight away they started moving their hands around the air, and you could see Lilibet's chair start to shake. Like I said, Jimi and I were both very protective of Lilibet, so we were feeling pretty bad about how this was starting to go down. And it was supposed to be a friendly competition, but these guys were taking it to another level. Then one of the guys starts making gestures with his right hand, like in a choking motion, pointing it towards Lilibet's throat. You can see it's having an effect on her. So Jimi and I both decided to get up from our chairs and end this, but we couldn't move. We can't stand up, and we can't even move our hands. At first they did this. You can see Lilibet's face, and she had a shocked look, and then she relaxes and she gets a smile on her face, like, she's regained control. And the same time, the old sorcerer geezers were getting more agitated and gesturing more intensely. And the other thing everyone notices is it's starting to feel really fucking cold in the house. And now you have to remember the middle of July, and it's one of those hot, muggy London nights. And now all of a sudden it's getting really, really cold. It's not like before when Lilibet used to drop the temperature in the room, when she and Jimi were just fooling around with the occult. This was like Siberia, effing cold, and it's getting worse. Colder and colder still, and then the old geezers started complaining. I can't feel my hands. Every window and everything made of glass has frost on it, and we can all see our breath, except Lilith. She appeared to be totally relaxed and no visible frosty breath coming out of her mouth. As it gets even colder, the old guys were starting to panic, and then they all are unable to get out of their chairs, and then Lilith gets a look on her complete satisfaction on her face, and she stands up, throws her arms into the air, and at that very moment everything was made of glass explodes. That's exactly what I saw. I saw everything exploding, the glass. Remember the temple?
Yeah.
I knew this was coming up. I started reading this and said, I wonder if all that glass is going to break. And the crystal in my watch, the spectacles of the old sorcerer sitting up to my left, absolutely beautiful, century-old stained glass windows, every piece of china in the house, which has been frozen, just exploded in this loud, very violent eruption. And one of the old sorcerers had a glass eye, and it was just awful to see what happened to it. And the old geezer that had been making the choking motions with his right hand had been complaining that he couldn't feel his hands. And I swear to Christ that as I sit here, the bones inside his effing hands shattered. Shattered as though they had been made of glass. And his hand was just a bloody pulp. And understand, all of this happened within seconds of Lilith standing up and throwing her arms and hands to the air, and it was like she broke her own spell and shattered everything that had been frozen. Then two other things happened at the same time. The room became warm again immediately after everything shattered or exploded, and at that same moment the radio in the corner of the room came on and started playing this song by the Levin Spoonful, Do You Believe in Magic? In a Young Girl's Heart.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this is creepy.
I like that song.
This is creepy, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez. And then Lilith does a little spin and bow with innocent smile as she leans down over the old sorcerer with a shattered hand and the one with the shattered glass eye. She says, "That, gentleman, is the way we do it up at Glamis. The geezer with the shattered hand, and his skin is bloody pulp with sharp bones and shattered inside, screaming at Lilith, saying, 'You've destroyed my hand, you dirty she-devil.' Lilith said to him, 'Maybe you should remember this next time you try to strangle a young girl.' And after that I realized Lilith's occult abilities had regressed far beyond anything that we had imagined. She didn't need anyone's protection. Later we asked her where she had learned such powerful sorcery, and she said from her friends within the walls of Glamis Castle. Several months later, she and I were driving together, and my car broke down in a really dangerous, dodgy part of London, and Lilith said to me, 'Don't worry, Peter. I won't let anything happen to you.' That's 25 years ago to me. To all of us who knew her then, she's still sweet Lilith." Jeez.
She was really Lilith, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Or Lilith was moving through her.
Sounds like Lilith possessed her.
Uh-huh.
Or she was an incarnation of Lilith.
And my ex-wife, too.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Do you want to break ties with Somerset Belenoff?
Oh, yeah.
How you like that first story?
Yeah.
You never know where this is going to end up. I'm telling you, I'm even a little stunned over this one.
Oh. I break all vows, contracts, agreements, oaths, blood oaths, any connection whatsoever to Somerset Belenoff. Anyone connected to her in any dimension, time stream, in between, parallel pocket universe, in between false reality, quantum space, and I thank thee for it is done, and I know it. She connected to that young girl that's that you've been sharing. I think from Muggsy, you've been sharing some posts on Facebook. That young preteen girl. I don't know her name, but
She an actress or something?
No, she's like a spokesperson or something for.
Oh, that's interesting. No, you mean what's her name?
Yeah, I can't think of her name.
That's the Swedish girl that's doing all of this stuff related to the environment.
Yeah.
Why is it that I can't think of her name? That's just crazy.
Huh. This Belenoff might be connected to her too.
I don't think she's. They're probably using her. She looks very much like a puppet.
Yeah. I mean, she's pretty smart for a young kid, though.
Yeah, but her parents were like the mother was an actress or something.
Like very well spoken. Seems like she's very educated and everything.
Well, she acts like an elite. So how is it an elite family is going to defend our planet? It's not going to happen. So the whole thing just seems like it's set up.
Yeah.
I can't even think of her name, which is crazy. They do this to me, like something real simple, and it just do a mind wipe.
Well, Jess, if you ever forget something and you know it, you just can't think of it, just ask your heart. Within a minute or so, the answer comes to you. Because your heart has all the information in it. Every question, every answer of every question that you might have. I do it all the time, and it works.
Unbelievable.
You ever heard of that before?
Yeah, it's not working. I'm trying it.
Okay, just give it a minute. It's always worked for me. I don't know if I'd even recognize that name if I heard it now. Because I never really took note of it.
Well, we looked at Sabrina, right? We looked at Sabrina, Jane, Summer. I mean, this is crazy. Harem Queen of Sheba.
Did we ever find out what that Bowling Green, Ohio thing was?
Is there a Bowling Green? Because it might be connected to her Bowling Green in England.
Sounds like it might have originated there. A lot of the names of places here originated in the UK.
Yep, Southampton, Old Bowling Green. It was related to her.
Oh. But was there a reason why it opened up over here, though?
It's for playing the game of bowls, which is like bowling. Object is to roll biased bowls so that they stop close to a smaller ball called a jack or a kitty. It is placed on a bowling green, which may be flat or convex or uneven. For crown green bowls, it is normally played outdoors. The outdoor surface is either natural grass or artificial turf. But it's like bowling, I guess. But it reminds me of bocce ball, which is the Italian version.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The aspect of tossing the balls approach a target as closely as possible is recorded in ancient Rome. This game was spread to Roman Gaul by soldiers or sailors or whatever.
Which is the UK, Gaul, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was what the Romans called it.
All right, so I'm going to do a search here and see if Summer Belenoff likes to bowl.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm just looking.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't find anything. There's no history of her bowling.
Oh.
Or any reference to anything like that.
But it was connected to her, though.
Yep. Hold on, I'm still looking. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the bowling is or the bowls or.
Well, if you come up with something, let me know. Thanks a lot. And do you think we helped Janet any by clearing up some of the bullshit that was around her?
Big time by you separating from Somerset. Yeah.
And the Masonic group.
Jeez, what a weird combination. Big stuff. Really big stuff.
Right. Well,
it's amazing how entangled you are. It kind of blows my mind a bit.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe we'll understand it someday of your involvement. You know.
And hopefully I am not going to be so blocked from companionship. You know.
No, I don't think you will be. It looks like she had it out for you though.
What, this woman?
Lilith.
Oh yeah. What about this?
Oh, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Why don't you go meet her? Tell me how it goes.
Okay, I will.
All right. Well, this was a very interesting conversation. Jimi is still concerned about his sister, and I hope that you can still hold him up in prayer regarding the situation. But let's talk a bit about what actually happened here. We start seeing his connection to Hiram Abith, which is related to the Masonic Lodge. His sister happens to be in a hospital that is by Washington, D.C. And we've done quite a bit of work already, and I've seen some really bizarre things. It's almost as if she's hooking right into this energy of what's been going on for the past couple of 100 years or more. And it's unearthing a lot of different things. And so, there is this mistaken identity or a blame game of imposing some kind of karmic issues. And a lot of entities do this. They'll impose karma of a lot of their wrongdoing on innocent people. And this was a perfect example of it. There are these little stories in between. I feel like there was a story after one story after another, and randomly I hear the name Sabrina. It somehow evolves into Lilith, and it goes even further into some other people, like the name of Jane and Somerset Belenoff, who was someone that I've been wanting to talk about for about 6 months or so, if not more, but never really had the opportunity to do so. I had known about some of the glamour stuff people have showed me, but as far as that story, I wasn't familiar with the story and read it and saw that she was, her nickname, or actually the name that people were calling her, was similar to the name Lily. And then, of course, Jimi telling me that his ex-wife was named Lila, just like Lily, and just constantly seeing this thread. So it started to dawn upon me that maybe Lilith is holding all of these people hostage, these relationships that are struggling. And there are some beings that are here to support love, and there are others that are against love. They don't want to see partnerships flourish because of their bitterness or whatever. Astral beings are very, very much like humans, in a sense that the darker ones have all those traits of jealousy and malice and mistreatment and competitiveness, cruelty, unfairness, and it's a lot of these things that are going on. That's why I have him separate from all of it. It seems like Jimi was a very nice guy. shouldn't have any problems being in a relationship. And in my opinion, even the most difficult person is able to have a partner. But there are powers beyond a lot of the challenges that people are having. And in this case, I've seen this kind of encryption happening with other people, and I'm wondering if, you know, she is this Queen of Hearts, essentially, you know, like in the story of Alice in Wonderland, kind of not really happy with people being happy, or being in a relationship, or being in love. But it seems like there was a story within a story within a story here. And, you know, just trying to discover and understand what some of these astral beings are doing, what their role has been, and how many different faces that they have, how many different personas, how many different names they go by, but can consistently be all the same. It's just one being. So as I'm looking at these things and following this thread, I want you to think about this and how the way that we've believed, and even for myself, this has taught me so much to not look at things the way that we're generally taught, but allow myself to get out of the construct of the way that people analyze things, the way people analyze science, and go through the process of certain practices and measurements of things. And I just allow the information to come through. And honestly, I'm stunned how certain things are connected that I would never have put together. And the only way I know it is because I'm getting guided on what the name or a hint of something that leads me to something else, and it all seems to fit very perfectly like a puzzle. And that's how we're learning, not just the process of how to figure things out, but remember, you know, you don't have to, not everything has to be within the lines. Not everything's supposed to be within the box. But even more so, it's not about who's right or wrong, or whether my method's right or somebody else's method's right. It's the whole process of getting freed. And for me, that's the bottom line. It doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as, I mean, of course, you're not accruing and creating more karmic issues for yourself in the process, but rather you're releasing in this process. And I can almost hear in my mind people saying, well, you know, you think you're so right, all these other people are wrong, and, you know, what gives you the right to tell somebody, you know, you should break ties with them? And I'll be the first one to say to Jimi or to anyone else, break ties with me as well. You don't have to be entangled with anyone if it doesn't feel right. And it won't offend me. And I think we should all recognize that. There are times when, you know, we're entangled with people, and there's a natural harmony to it, and if it feels like there were some karmic issues in the past, ask to be forgiven of the karma, release from it, and ask to be disentangled so that this doesn't perpetuate. And I believe the universe supports this, because I have seen people becoming more liberated and freed. It's not right that someone is constantly wanting to be in a relationship and they can't, because of some astral being is literally haunting them, following them, interfering with them. None of that seems right to me, and it is all due to some earlier time period where there was an agreement. But if people should have the opportunity to resolve these agreements and not be forever bound to a situation of some horrible being, And at this point, in my opinion, and I know that some people are going to freak out, but in my opinion, Lilith is not a benevolent being. And a lot of the women see her as a role model, an empowered woman. In some ways you look at her being a vulnerable child, 13 years old, and these men being aggressive, wanting to choke her. And immediately you're like, you feel compassion for her. And so in any situation, it seems normal. But what she did in return was quite shocking and revealed that she wasn't just a child. And the other men from Led Zeppelin would have easily have done what they could to protect her. But even they couldn't do that. But I think they put these things as a display, as a way to assert themselves, or to even show themselves as a victim or vulnerable. And entities are quite tricky, very complex. And so by examining these things and looking at it, I want people to become more aware and have a better understanding. There's that whole thing, having sympathy for the devil. And I'm not referring to Lucifer, because Lucifer is another angel. And I think that whole thing was really built up, in my opinion. I don't see, for someone that's always looking in the astral, and I would be the first one to say, this is who's doing what. And I've not seen Lucifer involved with any of these things that I have been looking at. And I'm not saying he's perfect, but definitely he seems to have been the fall guy for a lot of different things. And that's not sympathy for him, but I honestly have not seen him in these situations, as I have some of these others like Azrael and Michael and of course many other entities. So here's Lilith. I'm sure that there's more involved in this, and I guess this could be a bigger conversation. Please leave some comments. Feel free to express what your thoughts are on this. And some of the things, sometimes I will remove things if it's just like too far off. It goes over the edge. But I do want people to have their opinion. And I don't necessarily will consent to, something that is too extreme, or trying to pull people, or I feel that it may be misleading or whatever. And I can do that. It's my channel. And yet I do want it to be a place where people can express their thoughts and views. I don't have to agree with everything. I mean, that's just ego. I don't really need that either. So, but this is a very controversial topic, and I want people to just say whatever they want to say. I may agree, may not agree, but that's fine. So, thank you for listening, and until then, have a good day.